By the end of 2025, something had changed, not just in markets, not just in politics, but in how people around the world felt. Across continents, surveys recorded a rising sense of unease, a feeling that the global order was becoming less stable, less predictable, and less secure. In December, the UBS Worry Barometer 2025 captured this mood with striking clarity. Two concerns rose above the rest: geopolitical conflict, migration. Together, they reflect a world wrestling with borders, physical, political, and psychological, as it heads into 2026. The UBS Worry Barometer is not a political poll. It is a long-running global survey designed to track what people fear most, economically, socially, and politically. By aggregating responses across regions, income levels, and age groups, it offers a snapshot of global mood. In December 2025, the results were clear. Geopolitics and migration ranked near the top, often above inflation, climate change, and unemployment. This shift matters because fear shapes behavior. The anxiety recorded in the UBS survey was not localized, it was global. In Europe, war and migration dominated public concern. In North America, border security and global instability rose sharply. In Africa and the Middle East, displacement and conflict fears intensified. In Asia, geopolitical rivalry and refugee flows ranked high. Different regions, different experiences, but the same emotional response: uncertainty. Geopolitical anxiety is not abstract. It is fueled by visible conflict, rising military spending, and constant media exposure. From Eastern Europe to the Middle East, from Asia-Pacific tensions to great power rivalry, people sense that global stability is fragile. Today's conflicts are not isolated. They overlap, economically, politically, and psychologically. This creates a sense that no region is truly insulated. Migration has always existed, but in recent years it has become politicized. Climate shocks, wars, and economic collapse have pushed millions to move, often toward countries already under strain. For host populations, migration triggers fears about jobs, identity, and security. For migrants, it is a matter of survival. The UBS survey reflects this tension, not necessarily hostility, but anxiety about capacity and control. In Europe, migration anxiety is tied to electoral politics and social cohesion. In the United States, border control has become a defining political fault line. In Africa, internal displacement and regional conflict drive insecurity. In Asia, geopolitical rivalry intersects with refugee concerns. The fears differ in form, but not in intensity. Fear spreads faster in a digital world. Social media amplifies extreme narratives. Algorithms reward outrage. Misinformation blurs reality. The UBS findings cannot be separated from how people consume information. Anxious societies vote differently. Fear favors strong language, simple solutions, hard borders. The UBS survey suggests that geopolitical and migration anxiety will shape elections heading into 2026. Politicians understand this. Some seek to reassure, others seek to inflame. Governments face difficult choices: tighten borders and risk humanitarian fallout, loosen them and face political backlash. Effective policy requires balance, data, and public trust. History shows that fear is powerful. When exploited, it can erode democracy. The UBS data highlights a warning, not just about anxiety, but about vulnerability to manipulation. Addressing anxiety requires more than slogans. It requires transparency, long-term planning, international cooperation. Fear ignored becomes anger. Fear addressed becomes resilience. What makes this seizure particularly significant is not only the enforcement itself, but the message it sends about who controls global energy flows. In an interconnected oil market, physical supply is only one part of the equation. Equally important are the systems that enable oil to move: shipping insurance, port access, payment channels, and maritime tracking. When enforcement actions target these systems, the ripple effects extend far beyond the sanctioned country. For nations already navigating fragile energy security, this incident reinforces the urgency of diversification. Alternative suppliers, strategic petroleum reserves, and long-term investments in energy independence move from policy options to strategic necessities. At the same time, the seizure highlights how sanctions increasingly function as structural constraints, shaping behavior across entire markets rather than merely punishing individual actors. Shipping companies, insurers, and traders must now price geopolitical risk into everyday operations. As energy transitions accelerate, and global power becomes more distributed, such actions may become more frequent, turning oceans into arenas where economic rules are actively enforced. In this environment, energy policy and foreign policy are no longer separate conversations. They are one and the same. The UBS Worry Barometer 2025 does not predict the future, but it reveals the present. A world anxious about conflict, a world uncertain about borders, a world searching for stability. For deeper analysis on geopolitics, migration, global risk, and public sentiment, visit nexusinsight.org. Subscribe.